Okay, welcome back. This is part 2 of my spring 2020 food forest tour. This is the first actually property tour I've done on video. And we are starting in the southeast corner of the property. We're going to start right by this banana circle. So here's my pond. Before we do the food part, I want to show you this. It's a rainbow eucalyptus. I am really happy with this. I put 2 of these in. They're growing fast. They're really pretty trees. So if you're looking for a large tree in a wet area, which this is, and I think that's one of the reasons my oaks are dying here. These are really nice. So they've doubled in size since the, I don't know, 9 months ago I put them in. Anyways, on with the food forest. First is a banana circle. This is ice cream bananas. This circle is about 15 feet in diameter. I started with 3, took some pups, so now there is 6 plants around this circle. Like this one's a single, so this is one of the pups. You see that's one of the original. It's got several plants there. Doing very well. These have not fruited yet. I expect they will this year. If you saw my first part 1 of this tour, you'll remember all the tomato plants. Well, they're here too. I got a lot of tomatoes, primarily Everglades tomatoes. They're just really good. This is some Napier grass. This is good for chop and drop along with the Mexican sunflower. This is one of my, I call it a yard trash can. So I put these in a couple different places. When I clean the yard up, I just throw everything in here, and all that cardboard is there, left over from when the ducks were on the porch. So all that cardboard's been stripped of its tape, so it should decompose nicely. So there's a small ice cream bean tree. I don't even know if it's going to survive, but it's there. Here's a little avocado grown from seed. Now this particular one, the seed it's a multi-generational seed. So I got it from a friend who has a very productive and good tasting avocado tree that they grew from a seed, and that's basically been passed down. So I'm pretty sure it'll be a nice viable one. Got a pineapple there, it's making a fruit. Got some more bananas here. These are grand nanes. And then a bunch of pigeon pea. This is done well. Here's a mulberry. I don't know what variety this is. A friend gave it to me. It's growing real bushy, which is kind of nice. Be easy to harvest. Behind that, there's a couple chaya, the pollinator variety, not the one that's better for eating. So I'm going to go look at a couple of these plants and then circle back around. Sapodilla. It's pretty new. Started out pretty small, so it hasn't grown much yet. Strawberry guava, sometimes called cherry guava. That one's growing nicely. All right, so let's go back around. This is like a lowland area. I've got a couple of these around, actually 3. So this is just naturally low. I've left it that way. I put some canna lily around it, some ferns. I've got some sugar cane here. And then here's it's called a day avocado. It's got tons of fruit on it. It's a pretty new tree. Just planted it about 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So if I can keep the deer away, might do good. And there's a LOQUAT. That's about 8-9 feet tall. It's doing nicely. Java plum. This one's growing fast. It's about 8 feet tall right now. It's kind of by itself, but this will be part of an island. Then I had a palm tree falling down last year from all the wind. And this is one of those low areas that stays wet. So I just tipped that back up. I have a bunch of scrap wood holding it. I'll just let that wood stay there as long as it can, and hopefully those plants will just grow right back up. Banana tree should recover nicely, a banana plant. All right, behind me, got a lot of stuff in here. Got Mexican avocado. I think it's actually a different name than that. Winter Mexican, that's it. There's my label. I've got a row of chaya. It's going to separate that low area from this island. There's an ornamental hibiscus. Got it off the death rack at Lowe's. Got some moringa here. It's doing nicely. It's just a variety of vegetables, leftover seeds. Got some bamboo going here. It's called, I think it's called Buddha belly. That's what I was sold. I'm not sure that's what it really is. It's supposed to have real short segments. Those aren't short, so I don't know. Some dragon fruit. Now, this is my main plant propagation area. I'm going to do a whole separate video on this, so we're not going to spend any time there. It's not part of the food forest anyways, other than the fact that some of that stuff will become part of it. Another one of my trash cans. Got some Suriname cherry, some miscellaneous little ferns and things. I do have some Malabar spinach and New Zealand spinach growing in there. But let's walk along here. This is a Mysore banana. Still very small, they'll grow fast. Lots of chaya, some onions, some jalapeno peppers. Another black sapote, that one's 3 feet tall. This is a Pakistani mulberry. This makes the really big ones. Let's see if we can find, it's only got a few on it. You see that one ripening there? It's a pretty new tree. Now here's an experiment. This is called noni fruit. We didn't get that cold this year, but it died. However, it's sprouting back up. So if it dies off every year and then sprouts back up, that's fine with me. Got a lot of that daikon radish, and then there's some Seminole pumpkin growing in here too. See a little pumpkin there? I try to plant Seminole pumpkin everywhere. Those things are awesome. All right, back out before I get stung by an ant. Another Barbados cherry. This one's pretty small, about 3 feet tall. Now, let's swing back here. Another banana circle, Huamoa. Trees aren't real tall, been very productive. And I just took some pups and put them on the outer ring. So you can see one there, centered now. And there's one here. Basically there's 5 in the middle, and then there's gonna be 5 on the outer ring. Got some papaya. Another avocado. This I just grew from a store seed. In this case, it's the big green ones. A lot of people call it the Florida style. Got some Malabar chestnut. That's pretty new. I do need to do some weeding in here. There's a fig. More papaya. Papaya's awesome too. And another soursop here. This one's coming back pretty quick. They do not like cold weather. See a lot of daikon radish, a lot of tomato. Got some nasturtiums growing. Another moringa. Now, right center screen, that's where I cut it last year. We had threat of a hurricane, so I went ahead and cut it back. And it's grown. It's a good 15, 18 foot tall now. So I cut it at about the 6 foot mark, and it grew all that since then. Now this is a neat little area. This is Guava Circle, and I'll think of a better name. Got some more bromeliads. You don't have to put a whole lot of care into planting those. They just grow. So guava, 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 guava. Another one. Then I have some lemongrass. Got a Celeste fig. You also see that there's a lot of random kale growing around. So I bought a pound of kale seeds and a pound of daikon radish and just tossed them all over the place. That's some katuk. Supposedly katuk likes shady areas, but I've found it does just as well. Doesn't really care, shady or sun. Here is a dwarf ever-bearing mulberry, maybe 4 feet tall now. You can see I use pallets. I have a good source for them, so I get all I want. So there's some Everglades tomatoes. And you see back there I had used some pallets as well. They use them all over the place. We're on the back side of that Huamoa banana circle. We're up against the back edge of the property now. So I got some guava, some Mexican cream. There's some Mexican sunflower. Okay, this is a jackfruit. It's doing okay. I have another one that's doing better. But along the back, I've got some moringa, Mexican sunflower. We'll get back to that. But if you've watched my other blog, the property actually extends to that wooden fence. But I left, it's about a 30, 35 foot path between us. And the reason for that is, if I had run my fence all the way to the back, well, this guy's property goes all the way to a canal. And then across the street from me, there's a ditch in the road. And we have a lot of wildlife here. So if I had run my fence to his, the only way they could pass through would have been jump one of our fences, and my fence is shorter. So I left this pathway, and I actually have video, the deer using it, so it did work. This is a spotted bee balm, also called horse mint. I've got a brown turkey fig here. Got a mango, another avocado. In here we got pineapple, atamoya, chaya, lemongrass. Got the curry leaf tree. So here is the other jackfruit. This is maybe a little over 5 foot tall. This one's doing nice. So we're behind the propagation area now. And again, I'm going to do a video on this whole different subject. But I also have a video. I already made the video. I haven't posted it yet. How to make these barrel planters. These things just work great. So we'll get back to that as well. There's a lot of stuff in this little area. But we'll loop around and get to it. This is another one of those low-lying areas. Now this one had a bunch of stuff. It has this fern, there's palms. These, I don't know, they look like lilies. I'm not sure what they are, but this stuff was all here. It's all natural. It's got a couple oaks growing in there. So that's just a neat, I know they call them microclimates, but I'll just call it a natural habitat. Back over here, got a Simpson stopper. And again, just for reference, it's about 3.5 feet tall. More sunflower. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this guy. Kind of a sad little mulberry. Somebody gave it to me, so I stuck it in the ground. But it is doing good. It's got a lot of mulberries on it. Along the back, recently, I planted all kinds of vining stuff, like beans, cucumbers. So they're just starting to grow. Like that's a velvet bean. If you want to read up on something interesting, read up on those. More sugarcane. And let's take a loop here. These are dwarf Cavendish bananas. It's my third banana circle. And just like the other one, I just took some pups and made an outer circle. Not really a pup there, but there's a piece of the corm, so that'll sprout up. Here I've got asparagus struggling. This is a Mary Washington. It's growing though. Probably real hard to see with the camera. Now, a little bit of everything in here. Pineapple, lemon tree, papaya, sweet potato, Seminole pumpkin. Got some sage going there. See all the daikon radish. You can also see my animal issue. Something's come through here and just stomped everything down. I've got a fig here that's doing really well. This is about 8 feet tall. Carambola or star fruit. Flip over here. Big guava. This one's doing really well. Creates a ton of fruit. But again, the animals tend to get more than I do. There's also a fig back there. You can't see it from here, but there's an ice cream bean. It's kind of in the dead center right now. And I've got a few other little things growing, but I'll cover those in another video. So I don't know if they're going to make it. Another dragon fruit support. We are towards the back. This is going to be the new garden area. So I've got the power and water run out here already. I've got it staked off. There's some sugarcane in here. Again, more kale. Jalapeno peppers. I got a bay leaf tree. Longevity spinach, a lot of cranberry hibiscus. Here's a cassava or yucca. That's a fairly new addition. And then across from me, got a whole bunch of stuff here too. Some datel pepper, pomegranate. That's a lime. It's a Persian lime. Got some thyme. I can use that rhyme to make a clever name for this area. Lychee, leeky, however you pronounce it. Sweetheart. Another carambola. Assorted vegetables. This is some kind of native flowering plant that pops up everywhere. Grumachama. kumquat. Another pretty large guava. This one has fruited a lot as well. Some more Suriname cherry. There's also it's a Japanese sweet potato. It's growing in this area. Okay, I'm now standing in the southeast rear corner of the property. So again, we're in the back, so there's that right of way. You can see one of my power and water drops here. I put that everywhere. This little cactus came with the property, so it got to stay. And I put a lot of chips down here, but I haven't planted much yet. I have to be careful here because we have some power lines overhead, which you can't really see the line, but there's the pole. So that runs along the property line. But I will start establishing stuff here. Here's some chaya. This is that pollinator variety. So we're basically walking parallel to that area where we just were. You see the path here. It's also my tractor path. There's some longevity spinach, some chaya, some lemongrass, then an open area here where I'm going to put some sort of tree, but can't be too tall because of the power lines. More napier grass, some more chaya. Got a mango here. I'm going to have to keep this one under control, but this was planted. My sister gave me this one. She planted it from a seed. I did chop it down to encourage it to branch out, and that's exactly what it did. It's about 5 foot tall right now. It's doing nice. Got some aloe. This is the back side of that garden area. Now this is going to be all wood chips eventually, and trees. This is a mimosa. I planted this from seed. So that's a nitrogen fixer and helps get you some shade established real quick if you need it. There's the old aquaponic system. Got some pigeon pea growing next to that. To the right, I've got another Jamaican cherry or strawberry tree. Loquat. Another guava. This is another giant mulberry. It's doing nice. Here's the first Barbados cherry I bought. It's actually the first fruit tree I bought. This is doing nice. I put it at about 10 feet, 12 feet tall. Now this little section here, which has power and water, so there's the garden, there's the pond, there's the house. This is probably going to be like a tiki bar deck area. It's for relaxing. So I'm probably going to clear some of this stuff out, open the view back up. But what we have in here is some comfrey and some ginger. There's an olive tree. I'll leave the olive. Some red banana. Lots of Cuban oregano and kale. This is a longan. This guy is about 10 feet tall. And it's branching out, which is nice. Look like more of a tree. Now I didn't go over this area, which is another low area. There's not really much in the way of edibles in there. Save some time, we'll skip that. Some more canna lilies. But I am getting in position here to show. This will be one of the entrances to the new garden area. So I'm growing the lilies on both sides. I'm going to build an arched entry and have passion vine going over it. More katuk. This one's in full sun. It's also the first one I did. Here's a super dwarf Cavendish. That's fully grown. It's got bananas on it. Again. It's only about, well, if you count the leaves, it's almost 6 feet tall, but the stump is only about 3 feet. Here's why you grow a dragon fruit on a support system. Yeah, it's all the way up there. Another one of my islands. So we just saw that Barbados cherry. Got some blueberries in there, not doing very well. Lemongrass, more banana. Got some rosemary. Now this is the first chaya that I grew. It's also where all the others came from. So I've constantly harvested this. And I've kept it pretty short. It's about 7 feet tall. Another coconut tree. Another dragon fruit trellis. This one seems a little confused. I should probably help this a little bit. Some more grapevine. So you saw the propagation area. This is my sale area. This is where when people show up to buy plants, this is where I put the plants for sale. So I won't really go over what's for sale because that changes all the time. But I do have a black sapote here. There's a fig in the ground there. There's some guava behind it. I got some Mexican sunflower. Trying to get that established, get some privacy on this side. Got some pigeon pea. And a soursop. This one has come back strong. Lots of leaves. And if you remember the first video, there's the passion vine. We have done a full circle. So there we go. There's my spring 2020 property tour, which I will probably watch again in 6 months when I do my fall one. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave comments. Let me know what you think. See you next video.